Just like normal, every single year, The Athletic comes out with their NHL prospect pool ranking. So in today's video, we're going to break this down here and see where the Rangers are at and kind of see where they're placed, why they're maybe placed there, and also take a look at where they were ranked last season to see where they kind of dropped off to, because they unfortunately did drop back in these rankings. And also, at the end of things, we're going to take a look at a bit of a preview for all of the New York Rangers prospects that were taken in this past 2025 NHL draft, and we're going to kind of preview and kind of see where those prospects are going to be playing their 2025-26 hockey seasons. But quickly, before we get into the actual video, I did want to mention that if you are a New York Rangers fan, this may be the perfect channel for you, as I do post a video about the New York Rangers every single day at about 10 a.m. Eastern time. So if you are a Rangers fan, definitely hit that like and subscribe button if you do enjoy the video. But carrying on though, and seeing where the Rangers are ranked in the 2025 Athletic Prospect Pool rankings for the NHL, and the Rangers are ranked at number 24. So let's take a look at the Yahoo Sports article where they kind of break down this ranking by Corey Proman and The Athletic, and they go on to say the New York Rangers have the 24th best prospect pool according to The Athletic's prospect pipeline rankings. Corey Proman of The Athletic listed Malcolm Spence, Brennan Othmann, E.J. Emery, Gabe Perreault, Kerry Terrence, Noah Laba, and Scott Morrow as the Rangers' top prospects. And I think that's pretty fair. I mean, those are definitely most of the top guys. I think there are definitely a few other names that I would maybe put above someone like a Kerry Terrence, but overall, I mean, those are definitely most of the kind of top prospects in this system currently. If you don't count a guy like Brett Berard, I guess you can leave him off this kind of list here. But if you do count, Brett is still a prospect. I would consider him one of the best still. But I think overall, the Rangers have a solid prospect pool. It's obviously not great. And I think right now, there's really only kind of one guy necessarily that has that true kind of superstar kind of upside, it seems like, and that's, of course, Gabe Perreault. Now, after that, there are some really good and solid prospects that may become, top 4 caliber defensemen or top 6 caliber forwards, but there aren't, like I said, a lot of those kind of super high-end, superstar, real kind of potential guys. So you've got the mix of guys like Malcolm Spence, Brennan Othmann, E.J. Emery, even a Brett Berard, I think, a Noah Laba, a Scott Morrow. I think those kind of prospects are top 4 caliber defensemen and, top 6 caliber forwards potentially, but there aren't a lot of those guys that are necessarily potential kind of real superstars. So that's what the Rangers are lacking right now in their prospect pool, and that's, I'm sure, kind of, one of the reasons why this team isn't ranked in the top half even. But I do think the prospect pool in general is solid. It's obviously not great, but there is some solid depth to it. It's just the overall kind of high-end talent is definitely lacking. And next in the article, they go on to say, in the last year's prospect pipeline list, the Rangers ranked as the 15th best team as the Blueshirts saw a slight drop-off. The only teams ranked behind the Rangers in the list are the Winnipeg Jets, Toronto Maple Leafs, Ottawa Senators, Tampa Bay Lightning, Florida Panthers, Vegas Golden Knights, Edmonton Oilers, and Colorado Avalanche. The Rangers' opening night roster may consist of a number of young players, including Othmann, Perreault, Morrow, and Brett Berard. But the main thing being, the Rangers' prospect pool, I guess, dropped off from the Athletics list from 15th last season to 24th now. And to me, that makes absolutely no sense. How the Rangers have dropped off that much after adding to the prospect pool and it becoming a much deeper group and a much more overall just higher end talented group as well. I mean, there isn't necessarily a bunch of guys that kind of left this list. So I'm not really sure where the drop off was. I guess Will Cooley maybe was considered a prospect last year, but I don't really think so. I don't have the exact Athletic article there. I don't subscribe to them, so I can't exactly see their full list from last year, for example. But to me, I really am just not quite sure how the Rangers dropped off that much, and I can't imagine the teams that jumped the Rangers improved that much either. So maybe I'm a little off here, but I feel like the Rangers should definitely be a bit higher. A team like the Boston Bruins kind of jumps out to me. I'm not really sure how their prospect pool would be ranked above the Rangers. I know they added a guy like James Haggins, but I just think the Rangers prospect pool has improved so much since last season, and to see it drop off this much to me is a little bit of a shock. So not quite sure why they're this far back. I think they definitely should be higher. Not saying they should be in like the top 10 or 15 even necessarily, but being back at number 24 compared to 15 last year, and seeing a team like, for example, just the Boston Bruins, just first off the top of my head there, being above them, to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And in the comment section down below, definitely let me know your thoughts. Do you think the Rangers should be ranked at about number 24 there like they are? Do you think they should be higher like last year, further back? Let me know your thoughts on these prospect rankings by The Athletic. But taking a look at the New York Rangers 2025 NHL draft picks and kind of previewing and taking a look at where they're going to play more than likely throughout this upcoming 2025-26 season. So starting off here, we've got the 7th rounder the New York Rangers had, and then we'll go up to the 2nd rounder, the first pick of the 2025 draft for the team. And with that 7th rounder, they ended up taking a Swedish-born defenseman, Felix Farhamar. He mostly played last season for Örebro U20 team there in the kind of Swedish U20 league there for the most part, but also had 2 games played for the SHL team, so their top kind of men's league team there. So I would imagine probably mostly plays in the U20 league, but definitely will, I'd imagine, get some games there in the top SHL league as well. One of the 6th round picks ended up being Evan Passmore, a big, like 6'5", physical, shutdown defenseman. And this player played for the Barrie Colts in the OHL last season, where he will play once again this season. And I would imagine will be, one of the better players on that Barrie Colts team for sure. Then you've got the other 6th rounder who ended up being a overage player who could have been taken in the draft before, but didn't. And that is Samuel Jung, a big kind of skilled, I guess, somewhat scoring winger. He is a Czechian-born prospect, but played in the U20 league in Finland last year for Karpat. I think will probably end up getting some games in the kind of league of the top league, I would possibly imagine, and the U20 league, probably a bit of both, but more than likely will play more of his games in the U20 league, I would have to imagine. Then you've got Zeb Lindgren, another Swedish-born defenseman. This player was playing for Skellefteå AIK last season, mostly played for the U20 team there, but also had 5 games in the SHL, so the top men's league over there in Sweden, so that's pretty good. They're playing in one of the best leagues in the entire world outside of North America, and I would imagine, just like Felix, he'll probably play more of his games in the U20 league there, but definitely should, I would imagine, get a pretty good sample size possibly for a young guy, a teenager still, in the SHL, which should be good for his development, hopefully. Then you've got, for the 4th round pick, a Norwegian-born prospect, Mikael Eriksson. He'll, of course, play for them at the World Junior, so that'd be fun to watch. But he played for Färjestad in the Swedish league as well last season there. Did not get in the SHL at all, but did, of course, play in the U20 league there in Sweden, which he did very well in. Put up some great offensive numbers there, solid, kind of skilled centerman, and I think this is a player who, just like the other guys playing over there in Sweden, will mostly, I would guess, play in the U20 league, but will also, get maybe 5 to 10 games or so in the SHL as well. Next for the Rangers, they had 2 third-round picks, and one of them ended up becoming Artyom Gonchar, the nephew of Sergei Gonchar. Well, he actually ended up getting drafted in the CHL import draft, so the OHL, WHL, and QMJHL, the big 3 major junior leagues in Canada, they have a CHL import draft where they are able to draft, players from Europe and stuff like that. So he ended up getting taken there by the Sudbury Wolves, of course, and he ended up signing with them as well. So he is leaving Russia, of course, and joining the Sudbury Wolves for this upcoming season, which should be good for his development there, getting to kind of acclimatize there, I guess, to the North American style of game. And he is an undersized kind of like 5'11", 6 foot kind of player, whatever, but really, really light, needs to add on some weight and muscle there. So I think coming over and playing in, a junior league may be better for his development, especially, getting the switch over to North American style of game as well could be pretty good. Next is the other 3rd round pick who ended up becoming Sean Barnhill, a big, tougher, sort of physical shutdown defenseman. He ended up committing to Michigan State University, so that's where he'll play this upcoming season, and he'll be kind of going up against in the Big Ten there, that conference in, the NCAA, the top draft pick from this past draft by the Rangers, and that is Malcolm Spence, who ended up committing to the University of Michigan. So, bit of a rivalry there, possibly between these 2 Rangers prospects, the 2nd and 3rd round pick, one committing to the University of Michigan, and the other going to Michigan State U. That could be pretty interesting. So 2 prospects, maybe, of course, in a little bit of a rivalry this upcoming season, but overall, it should be a pretty fun season for a lot of these prospects. Lots of guys, going and possibly playing in some top pro leagues over in Europe. You've got some guys playing in some junior leagues in Canada. You've got some guys in college just from this draft alone. So pretty good mix of players here. Some forwards, some defensemen, got a winger there, a couple wingers, got a center. So I think overall it was a pretty good draft class by the Rangers, and getting a guy like Malcolm Spence, who, was going into this past kind of draft year expected to be a top 10, at least 15, at least kind of top 20 pick or so. So I definitely think that was a potential steal with him getting taken with a number 43 overall pick. And in general, on paper, it does look like the Rangers had a pretty solid draft. And some of these guys, of course, will be playing at this upcoming World Junior Championship as well, especially a guy like Mikael Eriksson for Team Norway, of course. So it should be a lot of fun to watch, and overall, just a solid draft by the Rangers. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed, definitely don't forget to click that like and subscribe button for daily New York Rangers content, as we post a video every single day about the New York Rangers. And also, like I said earlier, definitely don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on the New York Rangers kind of prospect pool rankings and them being put at number 24 in the Athletics overall NHL prospect pool rankings. And also, what are your thoughts on where these New York Rangers kind of 2025 NHL draft picks will end up playing this upcoming season? Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next one, and let's go Rangers.